Hi, I'm Robert Borton, CEO of Classical Conversations. Our most precious commodity is time. No one has ever lied on their deathbed wishing they had spent more time making money. They all wish they had spent more time creating a legacy. Our modern education system steals that legacy, steals that time from our children. That's why I'm passionate about homeschooling. That's why at Classical Conversations we want to give you more time to create that legacy, follow your passions, and glorify God. Visit classicalconversations.com for more information.
By this time, you know who has won the college championship game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
that was my intro. That was it. Hey, y'all, welcome to Cross Politics on the Fight Laugh Feast Network. Pastor Toby Chuck Knox, I'm the Water Boy. It's good to be with you, and I know I already said this, but it's my wife's back home in the house again.
You're going to say that all week long?
But yeah,
we got to
traveling.
You missed your wife.
And helping her sister. She was doing a good deed, but man, my wife left, and it was just not fun.
Well, Classical Conversations supports homeschooling parents by cultivating the love of learning through a Christian worldview in fellowship with other families. They provide a classical, Christ-centered curriculum, local like-minded communities across the United States and in several countries, and they train parents who are striving to be great classical Christian educators in the home. For more information and to get connected, please visit their website today at classicalconversations.com. Again, that's classicalconversations.com. We are very grateful to have with us back after
it's been like 3 years.
I think you may be right.
Too long, but celebrated journalist Jason Whitlock, host of the show Fearless, where he is daily protecting the realm of common sense and challenging the groupthink mandated by elites. As an award-winning journalist, he explores conversations at the crossroads of culture, faith, sports, and comedy. Jason, thanks for coming back on Cross Politics.
No problem. It ain't really been 3 years, has it?
I have no idea. I just
It's been about
it's been probably a year and a half or something.
You did
like
our
that.
conference the year before last.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. The conference counted for a lot.
Yeah, that's right. That was just a year ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
2022.
And you never sent me your limo bill. I'm just going to bring this up on the air right now. We never got to pay for your car ride, and
it was a 3-hour ride.
It was a long ride, and Jason never sent me the receipt. I was like, I thought we were friends.
Who paid for that? I wonder.
I think that's what Gabe is saying.
I was like, you come to our conference, you pay for your own ride to our conference?
That ain't right.
How'd that Ball State game go for you, though?
Not well. We did not have a great season.
Well, hey man, we got you on because you're kind of going off on this kick about conservative calendars, Christless conservatism, and I kind of watched a number of the Twitter storms kind of around you, and of course we thought the conservative calendar was a joke. Here we are. Conservatives think they're winning by releasing a soft porn calendar that's going to go up in the auto body mechanic shop. And conservatives think that's a win. Riley Gaines thinks that's a win. So wanted to kind of just take it off. Where are you at in this Twitter fight, and why did you pick this fight?
I don't know. I wasn't trying to pick a fight. I was just trying to open people's eyes to what's really going on. And so I wouldn't, and I got no problem with however you want to define it, I wouldn't call it soft porn. I would just call it a calendar of lust. Mm-hmm. And conservatives think lust is good. And if we just model the proper type of lust, everything will be normal and will be good and we'll make progress. And I don't believe that. I believe lust is a sin and we should try to avoid it. And there is no proper way to model lust. Yet lust is a natural, instinctive weakness or flaw that we have. No different. It's just like, hey, let me properly model how to overeat. It just can't be done. Mm-hmm. And so part of what my contention is like, I think that is typical behavior from conservatives that we should expect. and it's just not Christian behavior. Yeah. And people need to recognize that there is a wide disconnect between being a conservative and being a Christian. And, they give you a political identity, whether conservative or liberal. Mm-hmm. We've adopted that in the culture so that it just legalizes sin. Mm-hmm. When you only adopt a Christian identity, it locks you into a lot of behaviors and just a standard that's consistent with the Bible. But if you're a conservative, you're free to do whatever you want. I mean, as far as we know, O.J. Simpson was a conservative, and you can do whatever you want. Yeah. Charles Manson may be a conservative for all we know, and so that it's one of the reasons I've never voted. Even though most of my not voting was just kind of an instinctive thing, I didn't understand fully why I didn't vote. I just don't like politics, and I don't want a political identity. And now that I've really matured and figured out the flaws of a lot of my ways, I just want a Christian identity because I need that identity to combat my sinful nature.
Jason, why do you think it's funny to me that they did this calendar thinking it was a good idea? And of course, we don't know all their intentions in it all. But why do you think like conservative chicks are trying to run this play?
Because conservatives, again, are no different than liberals. They want to legalize sin and, want to give in to pleasure. And look, Riley Gaines is a young woman who's attractive, and she wants to show that off. And she thinks there's a level of appropriate lust. And she does, and again, she doesn't fully understand it. And it's not her fault. She's young, and it's up to older people like myself and people that are further along in their Christian journey to explain to them that, like, heterosexual lust is the slippery slope. You don't get to men competing against women in swimming without first heterosexual lust being centered everywhere in America.
That's right.
And so that's what conservatives don't understand. And it's the job of Christians to say, hey, look, all these things that you're upset about, the root cause is actually the person in the mirror and the culture in the mirror that thinks like, well, as long as it's heterosexual lust, it's a good thing. Right. And that's how heterosexual lust ends up in every TV show, every movie, every commercial, every song, centers heterosexual lust. And so, if you really understand the way the world works, Newton's law, third law of every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. We heterosexuals centered heterosexual lust, and so we should not be sitting here shocked that the LGBTQ and everybody else said, well, yeah, they've legalized lust. Now let's show off our lust the same way they've been showing off their lust. And so we're actually in control and set the standards and what's normal. And so, again, as much as it upsets me, the way the alphabet mafia has taken control of the culture, we need to understand we gave them control of the culture. Right. They baited us with, sexual lust and sexual liberation. That's a tool for political control. You guys know, because I this weekend I watched an interview that Doug Wilson did with E. Michael Jones, the Catholic guy. Yep. He wrote a book called Libido Dominante or whatever.
Yes.
And I watched Doug Wilson interview him and talk about it and talk about the history of how, this sexual promiscuity and liberation is a tool to pacify and control people. and we've fallen for that trap.
That's right.
Wow.
What do you say to, like, I know this
Wow,
is
Gabe.
I know.
Wow.
I'm hogging
He's
the show.
my friend.
Because Jason doesn't respond to my texts like
He don't like
responds
you like
to
you
yours.
like me. It's okay.
So I got him on the line.
Yeah.
Jason, what do you say to, like, the ladies out there who are saying, well, you need to control your own lust and emotions. I'm wearing clothes, albeit a bikini, and that, so your lustful response is your problem, not ours.
Wiley Gaines and everybody has to understand, again, that your promotion of lust starts the slippery slope to Bill Thomas swimming against you, Wiley. And so if you don't want men swimming against you, you're going to have to practice modesty. Yeah. And we have to reestablish a culture of modesty. Riley Gaines is married. You know, her husband should have an attraction to her, and she should leave it at that. She's going to have to sacrifice, her worldly desires to have every man find her attractive. Mm-hmm. She's found the one man that, makes sure he's attracted to you or maintain that. But Jason Whitlock and everybody else, I don't need to look at pictures of Riley Gaines in a bikini or whatever. She's not helping me. She's not helping herself. And she's legalizing the behavior of the alphabet mafia, who she's upset with.
Yeah, I don't know her husband, but I will say this about most men who are comfortable with their wives being looked at by other men like that. They've already been, like, they're so passive. They've already in the cuck position, which means they can't be bold to protect their wives or the other women around them when they're saying, I'm fine with something that's mine and that's supposed to be meant for me to love and enjoy and precious. That's just for these eyes to be looked at by other men. And I'm excited when other men look, especially other conservative dads, look at my wife's body like, ooh, I like that.
It's just worse and worse the more you describe it.
Yeah. Please stop, Knox.
But the kind of man that we want that are going to fight the culture of sin, they're going to have to be, and this is what you're saying, Jason, in a lot of ways too. This immorality has to be faced by morality that's whole and total, not just partial. And so, yeah, that's hard to think about. Jason, I want to talk to you a little bit about 2024. You did a show beginning of the year. I recommend everybody goes and watches it. It's the way to start off your 2024. I want to talk about how are you thinking about 2024? What's your focus for 2024? Last year,
when are you coming to Idaho?
I'm working on that. I'm working on that.
He don't know. He don't know Idaho. Yeah.
I can get you a private interview with Doug. But 2023, you were trying to tell men you need to be courageous. And you need to be courageous and not let your imperfections take control of when you're being courageous. So be courageous, even though you're imperfect, and that's okay. And repent of your sin where you can. But this year you have a different turn. And what are you thinking about for 2024?
I want to promote that growth is connected to sacrifice, and that what we have abandoned as men is our willingness to sacrifice. And as long as we're unwilling to sacrifice, we're going to continue to lose ground in this culture war or battle, and we're going to lose ground in protecting young people and your kids because you're not willing to make any sacrifices. And so we're not focused. Gratitude has been basically illegalized in American culture. Everything's about entitlement. Yeah. And again, it speaks to just how far we've moved away from a biblical worldview and a culture that reflects a Christian worldview in any way, because the entire Bible, when you're done with the Bible, first thing you should do is drop to your knees and say, oh, my God, thank you so much. Oh, God, I'm so undeserving. Amen. Thank you. I got so much gratitude. Oh, my God. And instead, we now have a culture where it's like, man, I am owed something. Do you know what happened to people 100 years ago, 50 years ago? Do you know what we taught? I'm owed something. And it's like, hold on. First of all, once you accept that Jesus Christ made this incredible, unprecedented sacrifice for you. Sacrifice. That's the book. The Bible is a book about sacrifice. And once you recognize that, then your whole worldview changes. And you start recognizing, like, man, these people before me made incredible sacrifices so that we can enjoy freedom of religion, freedom of thought, freedom of speech, control of our destiny. Like the founding fathers, no matter how flawed they were, like, wow, look at the sacrifices they made. The people that fought to end slavery to the point of sacrificing their lives. Wow, what incredible sacrifices they made. And we've lost the gratitude for that, and we've lost the willingness to make any type of sacrifice to protect the freedoms, the rights, the way of life, a biblical worldview. We're not willing to sacrifice anything. And that's like when I see someone like Gabe get arrested for standing on some biblical principles, I'm like, oh, man, there's a dude willing to sacrifice. And I see others putting up with smears to their reputation and incredible attacks. And again, I don't think Elon Musk is any type of Christian as far as I know, but I do respect the fact that, like, oh man, look at the arrows he's taking in order to protect free speech. And he's putting his life and business on the line. And so many men are unwilling to risk anything in protection of their kids, in protection of a culture that protects their kids, their family, and a way of life. We're not willing to do anything. There was like, oh my God, I better keep my mouth shut. Someone may say something about me at work, or I may have to go out and create my own business because this work environment in corporate America doesn't work for me. I'm not even willing to move into a 2,500 square foot house so that I don't have the financial demands from this 5,000 square foot house, so that I can stand on my beliefs. I have to compromise. And again, we're not, just think, people lost their lives for us to have these freedoms. And we think, man, unless my wife and my 3 kids, unless we're in a 5,000 square foot house, we're not happy. We're not. And so the wife has a job, the husband has a job, so that we can have 5,000 square feet. Now, our kids are more vulnerable. I've got to turn them over to these public school teachers and to the world rather than because again, take someone like me. My senior year of high school, me and my dad shared a 400 square foot 1-bedroom apartment. And believe it or not, I was happy. Now, did I want to live in something bigger? Yes. But did it ruin my senior year of high school? Absolutely not. My memories of my childhood are tremendous. And so I'm looking at people that like grew up in 2,000 square foot or 1,500 square foot houses or apartments that now think, well, the only way my kids can be happy and successful is if I provide them 5,000 square feet. And if that means my wife has to go sit in a corporate cubicle and my kid has to be taught by some lesbian woman or gay dude, well, that's what I'll do.
Yeah. Man. All right. I got to read this. Got to read this ad, and then I want to jump into that. You guys are aware that we have a new app, right? If not, you should download it right now. Head on over to your favorite app store. Type in the word Cross Politic or Fight Laugh Feast or Pub TV. Pub TV is the name of the new app. Once you find the app, you may need to update your app, or if you have a Droid phone, you may
get
need
an Apple.
May need to delete your current FLF app and then re-download it. Once downloaded, you'll be able to view and listen all our content right on your mobile device. As always, if you'd like to sign up for a pub membership, you can head on over to fightlaughfeast.com. Go to fightlaughfeast.com, and there's a whole bunch of free content on the app, but the membership unlocks a whole bunch more content. And thanks to all of you for your support. Do you go next?
No, go ahead.
My turn? Gabe got 3.
Gabe got 3.
You got 1.
I got some more.
And
he answered mine the longest, so I ain't gonna lie. So I got a lot of time.
It's good. So you're absolutely hitting the area. The question I was going to push on was just sort of for those who are just going to work. Maybe there's even guys that are already like they already have a smaller house. They already took some some pay cut. They're trying to do what you're saying. They're trying to sacrifice, but they look around and it looks dark. I mean, they're not getting anything. I think you said growth through sacrifice.
Yeah.
What's the goal? So let's talk to the guy who says, I'm making the sacrifice. We're homeschooling. We got our kids in a private school. I'm working extra hours. I'm trying to get the overtime because I believe in the sacrifice. But man, it's hard, and I'm getting tired. It doesn't look like we're making any progress. The Alphabet Mafia, they're winning. What do you say to that guy, Jason?
Trust the process, and again, as a Christian, you're on a faith mission, and so don't try to understand things that are not meant to be understood. That's faith. And so to just take one of the big mistakes I've made in my life, quirk in my personality, it's like I got to understand everything before I can sign off and do anything. And that was a mentality I had when I was not walking my Christian journey because I didn't understand the whole process of faith. And so you guys are married, and there's probably no bigger leap of faith than marriage. And that without faith, without trust, and just without, when it comes to your wife, there's things you'll probably never understand, but you just trust in the Lord and trust, hey, this is what I'm supposed to do. He made a help meet for me. I don't have to understand everything. Yeah. And so that's part of being a good Christian, and there's incredible rewards. Trust the process. And so these sacrifices you're making for your kids, it's no different than the people that say, well, I'm going to go out here in this civil war, and good chance I'm going to die, but it's what I need to do for salvation and to be right with God. And I think it's going to work out for future generations if I make this sacrifice. Oof. And I would argue it did. It worked out, and God is well pleased with them. And it's like, man, yeah, you guys read the Bible. You saw what my only begotten son did, and you tried to mimic it. Hats off to you guys. And so the sacrifices you're making for your kids, and even though it feels like the Alphabet Mafia is winning and you're not making any progress, you actually are. And it's no different than a weight loss journey when you hit a plateau, but you're still exercising and eating right, and there are things going on inside your body that are going to pay off majorly down the road. And so it's just no different than that. Again, this is why being a Christian is so important, because it makes you lean into faith, and it makes you understand there will be things that you don't understand, and there will be things going on that you don't visually see, but they're true because the Bible told you so. That's right. And so when you start honoring your wife, when you start making sacrifices for your kids, the Bible said this is what I need to do, and that there would be great rewards for this. You got to actually believe it.
Yeah, that's good.
You got a moment?
I got about 2 minutes.
Okay.
All
right.
Do one more.
So, Jason, I'm going to put you in the middle of a fight, and I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Our last show, me and Gabe were arguing over voting, of whether or not you should vote or not. And Gabe is arguing.
That wasn't quite the. He's already misrepresenting me.
Oh, okay, whatever. So, Jason, I've moved to the position now that I'm going to take the position. I'm not interested in voting necessarily right now. I'm just not that interested in it. I don't think that's where the power is. I think we're getting tricked right now, and I think people are assuming that if they voted, then they've done the sacrificial thing. So I should grow from just voting. Gabe, your position.
That's not my position.
I don't think that's your position. But
he making it worse.
No, but Gabe is kind of saying, like, listen, Christians are out here. They got to figure out who they're going to vote for. We got the caucuses running. We got DeSantis. We have Trump potentially. We have Biden and those guys. Man, okay, who should a Christian vote for? If you had to choose sides of where you're going to land on this current.
All right, you're gonna have to close this out. So I got to go.
Okay.
But then you can go backstage.
All right,
and get Jason's answer, and then Jason, I've got to run. I'm sorry, but they're going to get your answer.
We'll have that backstage.
And
Jason,
then I'm going to listen
hold
to
on,
it later.
Jason.
Hold on 1 second. All right, listen. If you're single, get married. If you're married, have you some kids, and if you have kids, go baptize them. Until tomorrow, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Boy, what a horrible tease. Go fight, laugh, and feast. This is Cross Politics.
My name is Jamie Piles. I joined Samaritan in December of 1996. We were homeschooling our kids, and we were already thinking outside the world's box, if you will. And I saw a little tiny classified ad about this new kind of idea I'd never heard of before. My first reaction was, that's the kind of thing that we would do, isn't it? And so I finally called the number, talked to them, and the more I asked them questions, the more I liked their answers.